The summer sun cast long shadows as Jamie parked the car at the edge of the park, glancing nervously at the dashboard clock. He could feel his heart racing, not from the thrill of the moment, but from the weight of what they were about to do. His mom, Linda, sat beside him, a mixture of excitement and apprehension in her eyes. "Are you sure about this?" Jamie asked, his voice barely above a whisper. She took a deep breath, smoothing her hair back as she considered his question. "I know it's unconventional, but I think we need this, Jamie. Just one afternoon away from everything, away from the pressures of our lives." They had spent months in the shadow of a family secret. After Jamie's father left, Linda had thrown herself into her work, trying to make ends meet. Their relationship, once filled with laughter and warmth, had become strained. Now they were both longing for connection, for something different than their everyday routine. "Okay," Jamie replied, glancing around to ensure no one was watching. "But we have to be careful, if anyone sees us?" "I know." Linda interrupted gently, her hand resting on his arm. "This is just for us, just a little break, all right?" With a tentative nod, Jamie turned off the car and stepped out. The park was bustling with families enjoying the warm day, children playing tag and couples walking hand in hand. It felt surreal to him, like they were living a different life, one where they could just be themselves without judgment. As they walked, Linda suggested they head to a secluded part of the park, a small grove surrounded by trees. "This way, we can talk without being overheard," she said, leading the way. Once they reached the grove, they settled on a bench, the air filled with the scent of blooming flowers. Jamie could feel the tension in the air, it was thick with unspoken words and the weight of their shared past. "Remember when we used to come here as a family?" Linda asked, a soft smile breaking through her nerves. "Linda would always bring that old picnic blanket." "Yeah, and you'd make those terrible sandwiches," Jamie teased, a playful grin forming on his face. Linda laughed, the sound like music to Jamie's ears. For a moment, the weight of their reality lifted, and they were just a mother and son reminiscing about better times. But as the laughter faded, Jamie felt the familiar heaviness settle back in. "Mom, what are we really doing here?" he asked, concern threading through his words. Linda's expression shifted, becoming serious. "I just want us to reconnect, Jamie. It's been so hard since your dad left. I miss us. I miss feeling close to you." Jamie nodded, understanding her pain. "I miss that too. But it feels wrong, sneaking around like this." "I know," she replied, her eyes softening. "But sometimes, we need to break the rules to find our way back." Just then, a group of kids ran past, laughter echoing through the trees. Jamie and Linda exchanged a look, a shared moment of clarity. They were both seeking solace in a world that felt like it was crumbling around them. "Let's just enjoy today," Linda said, her voice steadier now. "No expectations. Just us." Jamie took a deep breath, feeling the warmth of the sun on his face. "All right, just us." As they sat in the grove, Jamie and Linda slowly began to relax. The laughter of children faded into the background, replaced by the rustling of leaves and the distant sound of a fountain. For the first time in months, they felt a sense of peace wash over them. "Do you remember that time we got caught in the rain?" Jamie asked, leaning back against the bench. "You insisted we stay and finish our picnic." Linda chuckled, the memory brightening her face. "You were so mad at me, but I thought it was the perfect moment. I was soaked and grumpy." Jamie replied, laughing. "But you were right. It ended up being one of the best days. Sometimes the unexpected moments are the most special," she said, her eyes glistening with nostalgia. "It's like life is telling us to let go of our plans and just enjoy what comes our way." Jamie looked at her, sensing the weight of her words. "I get that, but it still feels strange, you know? Sneaking away like this." Linda sighed, her smile fading slightly. I understand, it's complicated, but after everything that's happened, I just wanted us to feel like a family again. And if it's just for a little while, maybe we can find a way to reconnect without all the secrecy. He suggested, his voice softening. I want that too, Mom. I really do. Linda nodded, her expression thoughtful. You're right. We should focus on being open with each other. It's just hard to find the right moment. They sat in silence for a moment, each lost in their thoughts. Jamie could feel the tension easing, and he realized how much he missed these honest conversations. The park, once a backdrop of their fractured family, was now a sanctuary for their reconnection. Let's make a pact, Jamie said suddenly. No more hiding. We'll find a way to spend time together without sneaking around. Linda's eyes lit up at his suggestion. I love that idea. We can plan little outings, just like we used to. No need for anyone else to know if that makes it easier. Exactly. We can keep it casual. Jamie replied, feeling a sense of hope blossoming. Suddenly, a loud crash broke through their moment. A child had fallen from a swing nearby, and his mother rushed over, concern etched on her face. Linda and Jamie exchanged worried glances, momentarily pulled back to reality. Maybe we should head back, Jamie suggested, the earlier excitement dimming slightly. I don't want anyone to see us here too long. Linda nodded, the smile fading from her face. You're right. Let's keep it low, key. As they made their way back through the park, Jamie couldn't shake the feeling of how fragile this moment had been. They had almost crossed a line, but instead they had stumbled upon a deeper connection. It felt like a turning point, one that might lead them back to a healthier relationship. Once they reached the car, Jamie turned to Linda. I'm glad we did this, Mom. It felt good. Me too, Jamie. Let's make sure it's not a one-time thing, she said, her voice warm and inviting. We'll figure this out together. As they drove away from the park, Jamie felt a sense of relief. They hadn't found all the answers, but they had taken a step toward healing, and that was enough for now. In the following weeks, Jamie and Linda made a conscious effort to spend time together. They visited the park again, sharing quiet moments and laughter, but they also explored new places, a cozy cafe downtown, a movie theater, and even a local art exhibit. Each outing helped to bridge the gap that had formed between them since Jamie's father left. One Saturday, they decided to visit a nearby farmer's market. The vibrant colors of fresh produce and the scent of baked goods filled the air instantly, lifting their spirits. As they walked through the stalls, Jamie noticed how Linda's eyes sparkled with enthusiasm. Look at those strawberries, she exclaimed, pointing to a stall overflowing with ripe fruit. We should get some to make that pie you love. Definitely, Jamie replied, his heart warming at the thought of spending the afternoon baking together. It reminded him of simpler times when life felt less complicated. As they picked out strawberries and chatted with local vendors, Jamie felt a growing sense of normalcy between them. But as they rounded a corner, they unexpectedly spotted someone familiar. A neighbor, Mrs. Thompson, who had known their family for years. Linda, Jamie. Mrs. Thompson called out, waving enthusiastically. Jamie's stomach dropped. They weren't hiding anything, but the context of their outings felt delicate. He exchanged a worried glance with Linda, who seemed equally startled. Hi, Mrs. Thompson, Linda said, forcing a smile. We were just picking up some fruit. Looks delicious, Mrs. Thompson replied, eyeing their basket. I've been meaning to ask how you both have been. I heard about, well, everything. A moment of silence hung in the air. Jamie could feel his heart racing. He didn't want to delve into the family drama, especially not in front of a neighbor. We're doing okay, thanks, Jamie said, trying to keep his tone light. Just enjoying the summer. Mrs. Thompson nodded, but her expression remained concerned. You know I'm always here if you need anything, It's been a tough time for you both. Thanks, we appreciate that. Linda said, her voice strained. Really? After a few more moments of awkward small talk, they managed to extricate themselves from the conversation. Once they were out of earshot, Jamie sighed, relief flooding over him. That was close, he said, glancing at Linda. Yeah, it was. She agreed, her voice low. I didn't want to have that conversation, especially not here. Do you think she suspects anything? Jamie asked, a hint of worry creeping in. Maybe, it's hard to say, we just need to be more mindful, Linda replied. I don't want anyone thinking it's more than it is. It's just a mother-son bond. Right, Jamie said, trying to shake off the unease. Let's just focus on today. As they continued to wander through the market, Jamie found himself enjoying the day despite the earlier encounter. They sampled cheese, picked up a loaf of fresh bread, and laughed as they spotted a jugular entertaining a crowd. See? This is what it's all about, Linda said, her earlier attention dissipating, just being together and enjoying life. After they finished shopping, they decided to have a picnic in the park, laying out their purchases on a grassy hill. The sun bathed them in warmth, and for a moment, they felt completely at ease. Mom, I really want us to keep doing this, Jamie said, taking a bite of the fresh bread. I want us to be close again. Me too, Jamie, she replied, her eyes softening. I think this is just what we needed. As they ate, their conversation flowed freely, a mix of laughter and shared stories. But the earlier encounter lingered in the back of Jamie's mind. He couldn't shake the feeling that their little world was fragile, constantly under the scrutiny of others. After they finished eating, Jamie leaned back on the grass, gazing up at the clouds. What if we just tell people we're spending time together? Like, just be honest? Linda paused, contemplating his suggestion. That might be a good idea. But we still need to be careful about how we frame it. I don't want anyone to misconstrue our relationship. Agreed, Jamie said. A mix of frustration and understanding. But it feels exhausting to keep hiding. I know, she replied, her voice gentle. But for now, let's just enjoy what we have and take it one step at a time. They sat in companion-style silence, the weight of their earlier encounter lingering in the air. But Jamie felt a flicker of hope. They were working towards something better. Despite the challenges ahead, he knew they could face them together. As summer rolled on, Jamie and Linda continued to nurture their renewed bond. They found small ways to integrate their outings into their lives more naturally. No longer just secretive escapes, their time together became moments of joy that they could cherish openly, even if they still navigated the complexities of their past. Afternoon, while planning their next outing, Jamie came up with an idea. What if we host a family dinner? Just you and me, and then we can invite some friends over too. We can show everyone that we're okay. Linda's eyes widened at the suggestion. That sounds wonderful. We can cook together and have a real gathering, just like we used to. Excitement buzzed in the air as they began planning the menu. They decided on a mix of their favorite dishes, along with the freshly made strawberry pie they had enjoyed at the farmer's market. On the day of the dinner, the kitchen filled with laughter and the aromas of home-cooked meals. Jamie and Linda worked side by side, chopping vegetables and stirring pots, their movements in sync like they hadn't missed a beat. Remember when I burned the pasta that one time? Jamie chuckled, stirring the sauce. Linda laughed. You were so upset, but I loved your determination to make it right. Yeah, and I never made pasta again, Jamie joked, playfully rolling his eyes. As the evening approached, they set the table together, putting in the effort to make it look inviting. Jamie couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. They were building something new, and it felt exhilarating. When their friends arrived, the atmosphere transformed into one of warmth and celebration. The dining room buzzed with chatter and laughter. And for a moment, Jamie felt as if everything was finally back to normal. "Your mom is a fantastic cook," one of Jamie's friends exclaimed, digging into the meal. "This is amazing." Linda beamed, a mix of joy and relief washing over her. "Thank you," Jamie helped with all of it. As the evening wore on, Jamie felt grateful for the support of their friends. The conversations flowed easily, and he could see how much they appreciated the effort Linda had put into the dinner. Later in the evening, Jamie and Linda stepped outside for a moment to catch their breath. The stars sparkled above them, and the night air was refreshing. "This was a success," Jamie said, looking at his mom. "I'm really glad we did this." "Me too," Linda replied, a genuine smile gracing her face. "It feels good to connect with others again." Just then, Mrs. Thompson strolled by, walking her dog. She waved and paused at the edge of their yard. "I hope I'm not interrupting. I just wanted to say how lovely it is to see you both together." Jamie's heart raced again, but Linda took the opportunity. "Thank you. We're just having a little dinner with friends." "That's wonderful. You both deserve some happiness," Mrs. Thompson said warmly before continuing her walk. As Jamie watched her go, he felt a sense of relief. Maybe they could embrace their connection openly, without fear of judgment. Back inside, the gathering was still in full swing, and Jamie felt lighter than he had in a long time. They played games, shared stories, and for the first time in a while, laughter filled the room like a comforting embrace. As the night wound down, Jamie caught a glimpse of his mom laughing with one of his friends. In that moment, he realized how much he missed seeing her genuinely happy. Their bond had evolved from a hidden connection into something that felt vibrant and real. After everyone had left, Jamie helped Linda clean up. The kitchen was a mess, but it was a beautiful chaos filled with memories. "Thanks for tonight, Mom," he said, handing her a plate. "I think we made a lot of great memories." Linda paused, looking at him with gratitude. "I think so, too, Jamie. And it reminds me how important it is for us to be honest with each other and with the world. We can't be afraid of what people might think anymore." Jamie nodded, feeling a sense of agreement. "Let's keep building on this. I want us to keep moving forward." Linda smiled, a mixture of relief and pride shining in her eyes. "So do I. We've got this together." As they finished tidying up, Jamie felt hopeful for the future. Their journey had been complicated, but they were finding their way back to each other. One step at a time. The laughter, the connections, and the openness they had created were worth every moment of uncertainty. As they switched off the lights and closed the door behind them, Jamie knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, with honesty, courage, and love.